So now I'm gonna do a series of short and quick versus questions, just to know more about your style of running. Do you prefer running on road or trail?
Road all the way.
Okay.
I worry about trail because to me trail is a walk. I worry about gravel and twigs and sticks and branches because I worry about my ankles and twisting. But I enjoy trails. I just don't use them for the runs.
Yep. Okay. Since you've mentioned trails and twigs and stuff, do you prefer running like out and back or in the loop if there's no other constraints?
I love a loop.
Okay.
Because I dislike out and back.
Okay.
To me, out and back is mentally a little more challenging because I go one way and see what I see in one way and then see it all again back. So to see things double, sometimes it's just a reminder that there's still a lot to go.
Yep. I totally agree. That's me
and
as well.
I've created interesting loops around my house for 5K, 8K, 10K.
Oh, me too. Me too. I know exactly, like if you tell me to go for a 7.5 kilometer run, I know exactly where to go.
So to me, the Georgina Marathon was tough. Even though I did a better time, it was out and back twice. So 10, 10, 10, 10.
Oh, that's hard.
So if you pass by a house, you pass by it 4 times.
Yeah. Okay. So since you've mentioned running routes, if you're not training, you're not aiming for a certain distance, what would be your favorite running distance?
5K hands down.
Even though you're a marathoner.
5K is my favorite running distance. It's a distance I could run every single day in the morning.
Yep.
It's a distance I could run it with my kids. And I do run a few 5Ks with my daughter.
Nice.
The Shoppers Women's Run, the Zoo Run. I used to do High Park with my son before when he was younger. And by the way, the route we're running right now is the 5K route for the Couch to 5K program.
Yes.
Which starts at Tannery, goes onto Navy, goes onto the pier, back along the shore, back along Lake Shore, and then back into Tannery. And I call it the scenic route because the kind of motivation that the 5K runners need is very different than the kind of motivation that the other runners need.
Yep.
So a scenic route gets us there.
You've designed it intentionally for that. And it
to
shows.
Motivate in a different way.
Yep.
To capture a different part of the mindset. Because the 5K runners, the beginner runners, they don't need performance motivation.
Yes.
They just need the basics of motivation.
Correct.
Of getting out of bed on a Sunday morning and doing the run, whether it's cold or warm or humid or wet.
Yep. Okay, so that brings us to the question about, I pretty much know the answer, but you prefer running in a group or solo?
Group. I think I used to run solo for so long, almost 7 or 8 years, until I experienced running in a group, and somehow I can't seem to go back to running solo.
Oh.
I've developed this habit where I'm either running in a group or a pair,
Okay.
or not running at all. So there's danger, but I can still do morning runs by myself in the morning and be back home before my kids wake up
I see.
and get ready for the day. So those are still solo runs. The short 5K early morning before the sun is up.
Yep. And that brings me to the other question. If you're running solo, do you like listening to music, podcasts, audiobooks, or just listening to your brain?
My friends know this, regardless of the distance, even for the full marathon races,
Okay.
I don't listen to music.
Oh,
No music,
I did not know that.
no gadgets. It's just me and my thoughts. And I'm pretty structured with my thoughts.
Okay.
I would run a marathon by thinking of topic number 1, topic number 2,
No way.
topic number 3. Let's go back to something I remembered for topic number 1.
Oh my goodness.
And so by the end of the 5 or 6 hours, I've covered quite a few topics. But you know, I trained individually for my first marathon while I was doing my PhD. And I used to think I'd be stuck on something, stuck on an equation, stuck on a thought, stuck on the next step. And the running will clear my mind. It'll make me think clearly. I'd do all my thinking on a run. I'd come back to my desk and I can just write. I don't need thinking time because the thinking time is done. Because I remember when I used to budget time to work on my thesis, I'd always be behind. And I never wondered how can my estimates be so far off? And I realized thinking takes time. And I never accounted for thinking time. So my running was my thinking time.
Interesting. You know what, Nadine? I'm gonna try this. I like going on solo runs, and sometimes I don't listen to music as well. Not on the longer runs, but I will try your method. I'll try to structure my thoughts and see how that works, because that sounds very interesting.
Depending on the speed of your running, when you're doing a slow, right now we're walking to catch our breath, you focus on different details.
Correct.
You can focus on a squirrel, you can focus on something on a branch, you can focus on something somebody's doing. When you're a little faster, you focus on different details. And I think all of them just open up our other senses. You know, when someone is blind, they say, not that we know, but a blind person has their other senses heightened.
Severely, yeah.
And I think we could experiment with that when we let go of our music. And you find yourself actually observing what you wouldn't have observed if you were listening to music.
All right, Nadine. Continuing on with the shortened versus questions. If you're not committed to training or running with a group, what would be your preferred time of day for running?
My preferred time is very early in the morning. Actually, even when we run in a group, I think we're kind of forced an early morning start to the Sunday group runs. But if I run alone by my house, I run much earlier than that. I could be out the door by 5. So I feel I wake up with 100% energy.
Yes.
And I lose it throughout the day.
Nadine.
So any kind of training, even if it's my cycling or my swimming, I do it in the morning. And I like that time because it's my time.
Yep.
Nobody needs anything from me. Nobody's asking me for anything. I don't have commitments for the family. For the remainder of the day, and I've tried it, to schedule a run, it just competes with all my other commitments.
Yes.
And it's quite hard to work in. So early morning is my favorite time of day. And for evidence, there's a 5 a.m. club. An informal 5 a.m. club.
I know. Nadine, usually when I wake up, Nadine has already greeted us with a 5 a.m. message.
You know, when I was younger, I could stay up later, and I wasn't a big fan of waking up early. I think it's an age thing.
Yes, it is.
I now wake up much earlier, and I know that there are others who are awake with me at that time, and I'm just incapable of staying up past 10 o'clock.
Yep. Well, just to tell you, it changed me. When I used to run solo, my runs were always after work because I was never a morning person. But since I had to wake up early to join you guys, I've now enjoyed running early in the morning more and more. Like I even do it on my own now. So that changed a bit.
You know, I tell the 5K runners when we run in the morning and the sun comes up or we pass by the lake, I actually take a moment and we stop and I say, this is why we wake up early. This is why we do what we do.
Yeah. I mean, look now, we started running, it was a bit gloomy and cloudy, and now it's beautiful. Okay, my last quick question. Which is your preferred season for running?
I'm going to surprise you. You probably would think that the more common answer is summertime.
Yeah.
Because it's beautiful and it's green.
Yeah.
I think running in the summer, as beautiful as it is, my body doesn't handle the heat very well.
Okay.
So I think I'm a fake Egyptian.
Oh,
I have Egyptian blood, but it's not helping me in the summer.
it's not.
But
Been
I
here
think
too long.
I've enjoyed running in the winter because I'm a winter warrior, or rather a Waterloo warrior, and I perform a lot better in the winter. My performance in running is a lot better in winter, and over the years I've accumulated good gear so that I can run comfortably. And there's no such thing as bad running weather. There's only bad preparation.
Yeah, true. I'll put a pin in that. So when we talk about the gear, I'll get some advice on you,
Yeah.
from you.
And every race I did, I've gifted myself a technical running apparel, whether it's a shoe
Nice.
or a jacket, and they're usually good for winter. That's when I need the technical gear.
Yep. So we talked about running is a very low entry sport. You can literally open the door in your pajamas, wearing slippers, and just run around the house. But we all know that once you do it consistently, sometimes you figure out that a good shoe or some other running gear sometimes a good shoe or running gear makes a difference in the quality of life for a runner. So can you give us some of the examples or recommendations of gear that really made a difference for you?
So I did mention that I've gifted myself a few things after some major races that I've had, just as a celebration of that achievement.
Okay.
So I'll share a few of those. One is a winter running jacket that's not very puffy. It's actually very lightweight, but made of very good material.
Yep.
Gore-Tex is included,
Yep.
and that keeps me so warm in the winter that I don't feel so bulky when I run. And it's comfortable because it's flexible. And I bought that from the running room, and it comes with a hood that comes on and off, and it comes with a face cover that I could pull down. And I integrate that with a buff as well on my neck, because when I keep my neck warm, I don't lose so much body heat.
Oh, that's interesting. And you touched before on running in winter in Canada. So what is your, let me ask you, what's your full gear for running for winter, in winter? And do you run long distances or just shorter ones?
Well, in winter I run whatever the training plan
Okay.
requires.
Okay.
So it is a bit of short and long distances. In terms of the first layers, they're no different than what I run with in the summer. But the layers I put on top is usually just a mid-layer that's a vest without
Okay.
the sleeves, and then an upper layer like that winter jacket I was referring to.
Okay.
And I know that my upper body is what gets colder. My legs never get cold. I'm okay with my legs, and minus 25 doesn't bother me.
Oh wow, so you don't use like special winter
No.
shoes or something?
I do have winter shoes that are grippy because of the ice on the ground,
Yep.
but not because of cold.
Oh, I
I think
see.
my feet can take it.
I see.
But summer or winter, I wear double-layered socks. The brand is Right Socks, WRIGHT. They're double-layered,
Oh,
which means the inner layer stays close to your feet, the outer layer stays close to the shoe, and it prevents blisters.
oh, interesting. I've never heard of this.
And I've never had a blister.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll search them up.
Another way to do it is to just wear two socks.
Oh, okay.
But these double-layered socks are ingenious.
But doesn't your foot slide inside from one to the other?
Exactly. But the sock that's closest to your feet stays close to your feet.
Oh,
And it's the
interesting.
other one that slides. The other gear I've gifted myself is the shoes I'm wearing today. They're the Nike, they're the 2% which means it promises to increase your speed by 2%. I haven't tested out the numbers so much, but I can show you some details of that shoe later. It's very lightweight, and I think a Nike shoe is not for everyone,
Yep.
but I have very narrow feet, and Nike shoes are really made for narrow feet. So
Yeah.
if you have wide feet,
Doesn't work.
they're not great.
Yep.
And I have a very high arch, and so the Nike shoes are also pretty good with me, but I also have Brooks for my long distance,
Yep.
and I have New Balance for my winter waterproof shoes, and I have my everyday running shoes, and those are I forget what they are. They're Nike. They're Nike.
Nike. So, is this your favorite shoe ever?
It is.
Okay.
And the front is a mesh, which means it will not do very well in wet conditions.
Oh, I see.
Because I will just get soaked. But
But
they are
probably,
they're so lightweight.
Oh, nice.
They've got engineering features in this shoe. Would you like me to show you now or later? So this part over here, it's when we run and we land midfoot and we roll, whenever our heel touches the ground, it acts as a brake, as a stopper.
Yep.
If it's straight.
Okay.
This doesn't act like a brake, it just rolls. So you don't have that constant braking with every stride.
Okay.
The other thing I like a lot is this piece here. Can you see this notch? We have a bone right here.
Yep.
And this bone, when we bend, maybe it'll be clearer. Everybody, you can try it. Everybody has a bone that sticks out.
Yes.
This notch gives room for that bone to come through without having it
I think I have a similar thing here.
without having it constricted.
Yeah, true.
But this notch is a little bit off to the side
Oh.
because this bone is a little bit off to the side. So this is ingenious. And if you look a little in, the shoe is held, the foot is held a little bit on the inside, not on the outside. This is very loose and it doesn't touch my ankle.
Okay.
The ankle is held on the inside, and this is the tightest part.
Okay.
And so I really feel like my foot is held in position, and so my ankle is supported as well. And in terms of the shoelace, it's not smooth, it's notched along the way,
Yeah.
so you don't need to double knot it. You
Yep,
just knot it
yep.
once and it does not get undone.
Yeah, I think I saw a couple of brands do that, especially with their performance shoes.
And the other thing is the laces, they're not straight, they're a little bit slanted.
Oh.
Which is how our foot actually takes shape. And the rest is, this is the mesh. It's very lightweight. There's almost no fabric here. And the shoe is very lightweight. It also has, if you look at the bottom, in the middle, there should be a carbon fiber going across.
Yes.
I haven't really explored what impact this really has on a run. But what I've read about it is that it really helps with your forward motion to improve the momentum in the forward motion.
It gives you some energy return. So I think it allows them to use very squishy midsole, but then the carbon fiber gives you back some of the energy return, so it doesn't get absorbed.
Yeah, and so I did a stride and gait analysis at Black Toe Running, downtown Toronto. I am wearing their t-shirt. And I turned out to have a neutral gait and a neutral stride, which means I don't really need to explore shoes that are for pronation or supination.
Yep.
And I don't need to have insoles. And thankfully, I don't have issues with my feet. But I do watch out because I do have a bunion forming. So I am, and it's genetic because I know my mom has that too. So I'm just trying to watch out, trying to be bare feet. When I'm not running, I try to be bare feet.
Okay.
Or when I'm not at work, I try to be wearing comfortable shoes.
Yep.
I am known to not wear comfortable shoes outside of running because I do like my heels.
Yep.
And I work in a very male-dominated environment and I want to be as tall as all the men around me. I see a lot of runners, they wear Hokas, and though I think the shoe is a great shoe, I wouldn't wear one. I don't think I need that much cushioning.
Yeah, true.
I do appreciate a little bit of cushioning, but I don't need that much. That's why I've never really, I don't own a Hoka.
Yeah.
I always tell runners that go shoe shopping, and I've been with a few of them while they're shoe shopping,
Yep.
is to first encourage them to do a stride and a gait analysis so that they know where they stand. And you don't even need to go fancy. There's an exercise you can do with a paper and wet feet at home.
Okay.
Wet your feet, put a dry paper on the ground,
Yep.
step on the paper, and see what kind of shape your footprint, and then you can tell how heavy you are, whether it's on the outside or the inside of the foot.
I see.
And I think so. That's advice. The other piece of advice is that running shoes could be so colorful and so beautiful that sometimes we get attracted by how they look and not really focus on how they feel.
Yep.
So I have a strategy. Just forget the colors for now. Pick 2 pairs that you think you like.
Okay.
Put one on each foot. And the one that feels more comfortable, keep it on. Take the other one off.
Okay.
Then look at the next shoe you think you like.
Okay.
Put that on your foot.
Okay.
Go for a walk. The one that's more comfortable, keep it on. Take the other one off. Keep cycling through as many shoes as you think you like. And the one that remains on is the one that you're most comfortable with.
Absolutely.
And a lot of running rooms and running room stores or stores that sell running shoes are patient enough to help you through that process. And it's worth the time because you're going to be running in those. So if there's any defect in the shoe that you've chosen, once you start adding the miles, it'll really be magnified.
Yep.
So if it causes a slight pain to your ankle, it'll be a lot of pain after 10 kilometers.
Correct.
If there's a slight tilt that your feet is not happy with, it'll show up when the distance increases.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was going to tell you, I had exactly the same experience you're talking about. I've been to Running Room and Lacto many times, and they're great at giving you advice. And recently, there was a specific shoe that I really liked. I'm not going to mention the brand, but like I always wanted to try them. I never tried them. And I put it on in the store, and it doesn't work for me because it's very wide, and my feet are not very wide. And the lady told me, like, if your feet are not happy, it's not the right running shoe.
Yeah.
But I did not listen because I really liked the color, and I bought it, and now it became my walking shoe. Because I ran a couple of times, and it really doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's too wide, that starts slipping sideways when I'm running, so it creates rubbing and then blisters. So yes, as much as we enjoy the designs and the colors sometimes, if you're serious about running, it's about your feet, not your eyes.
I agree. One fashion advice that I've given myself is I don't want to wear a black jacket or black shoes.
Oh, okay.
I think there are other colors in the world
Exactly.
rather than the black, but I do own a black jacket and I do own black shoes, but I own other colors as well.
I think that has already been a great talk. So I want to give you a chance now to talk about anything that you'd like, promote something that you care about, whatever you want to talk about. So here you go.
Anything else? I can share with you all the 101 thoughts that go through my mind when I do running because I don't listen to music.
Okay.
But since we're wrapping up, I would say I love the cool downs after a run. I think sometimes I could skip a warm-up and tell myself I'll just warm up in the first 2 kilometers.
Okay.
But I'll never skip a cool down. To really give myself 5 or 10 or 20 minutes of cool down to really stretch every single muscle because that's how our muscles repair.
Yep.
The little tears that they experience during a run are strengthened when they heal after a run during a cool down.
Okay.
And created a really cool practice at Tannery Park after a run to have some music and do a guided cool down.
Yep.
So that's something I I really love doing. And
It's-
I would,
It's really important. Like, this is something that I never used to do before joining Agalthea. I used to finish a run, just go for a bath. But I realized that, you know, the cool down and the stretching is very important. You don't want to take your body from 100% to zero.
yeah.
You need to gradually bring it down, like you warm up in the beginning.
And another thing I've learned to enjoy is when I started swimming, sort of lap swimming in an indoor pool, I joined a gym that also has a sauna. And so I've trained myself after every swim to spend 20 minutes in the sauna. And I've read it's a sort of a practice that comes from Finland, and they are the experts at sauna. They call it sauna. And I've learned so much about its benefits that if you read up on its benefits, everybody will be doing some sauna after training. I just happen to do it after a swim, and that's my treat to finish a swim workout.
Nice, nice.
And the only other thing I'll mention that I could categorize as other things is that I read a lot on sports psychology,
Okay.
and I read a lot about mindset and lifestyle. And I think even though these books may not necessarily talk about running, the advice and what I learned from them, I can easily apply it to running equally as much as I apply it to life. And so I do quite a bit of reading as well, actual hardcover books.
Yep.
And I have my time of day when I read. So I'm usually reading 3 or 4 books on the go at the same time.
Oh, are you?
One is my morning reading with my coffee,
Okay.
and that's usually sort of a personal development type of book, like the 5 a.m. Club book,
Okay.
or Atomic Habits, or
Yeah, self-care type of book.
anything along those lines. Usually that's my morning reading. There's a book I have in our living room, which I would usually pick up sort of after dinner time, and that's usually training related. Heart rate training, the Triathlete's Bible, and I read those kind of books after dinner, sort of as a motivation for the next day,
Yes.
because I don't do anything really in the evening. It's mostly the morning the next day.
Okay.
And then there's a book by my nightstand, and that's usually fiction.
Oh. So you're an avid reader. Like I read a lot as well, but I've never read books like simultaneously at the same time.
Yeah.
It just, I focus on one and get it done.
Yeah, that's also a strategy. Whatever works. I think I like the diversity. I'm also a Gemini, so I need to change things up very frequently.
I think it works because there are different types of books, right?
Yes,
So
exactly.
they don't mix.
There's a time for each one.
Yeah.
Like I can't read fiction in the morning.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And of course, that's also to say there's my technical reading that I do for work. To
Absolutely.
stay ahead of the
Yeah.
field,
Yeah.
to stay up to date with the content.
Nadine, thank you so much. This was as amazing as I thought it would be, having talked to you many times before. But I think we got some great advice on running and other things as well. So even recommendations about reading and things that I'm honestly going to apply soon. So thank you so much. This was really enjoyable.
Thank you, Omar. This has taken a while for us to get together. I've been trying to plan this for a few weeks. Life got in the way, like it always does. And I'm grateful we chose a nice day for this. My hair is now double the size it was when we started.
Yeah, the
But
humidity.
That's part of the run.
Yeah, exactly. Lastly, I'm just gonna ask you for recommendations. I'm gonna start from now on to ask people to recommend the next runner to interview, whether it's one or two or many. I'm gonna try to do as many runners. Like I'm definitely planning to cover our entire team, but can you recommend one or two names that I should do next?
Okay.
Put them on the spot.
Okay. I thought hard about this, and I had difficulty choosing names. But if I can say, the entire 5K running group over the years are excellent candidates for these kind of interviews because they learned by doing. And they are all my babies because they've all started with the program and some have gone on to do full marathon distances.
Yep.
So if I were to choose one person, I would say there's a group of girls, women, almost my age, some are older, some are younger, that started with the 5K running group much later in life. They are all professionals in their fields. I would have to say maybe start off with Nadine Ibrahim.
Yep.
She is a wonderful person, mother, architect.
She's a fellow architect.
And I remember her very first day running with a 5K, with a Couch to 5K group. And she's gone on to win an age category trophy at the Niagara 5K race.
Oh, wow.
And I remember waiting for her name and then the announcer missing her name. And then we're going back to the announcer to go back to that age category.
Yeah.
And it was such a scene when they called her name and she picked up her trophy. And she belongs to a whole group of women that run.
Yes.
And I would say if you start with Nadine and then catch them all, it would be wonderful for your run and chat.
Yep. No,
But I would also say, because we mention it so much, Agalathea and the founders, I think you should also take the chance to hear the history and to hear the story from them, because they were there on day one.
That's something
And
that
I
I'm
think
really
that would
looking
be
forward to.
that would be inspiring to give context to the group that we all call our community group.
Yep. So you've given me several names. I'm looking forward to talking to them all, having ran with them all. So that'll be amazing. Thank you so much, Nadine, again, and till our next run.
Thank you, Omar. We're at 10 kilometers now.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have another 15K to go.
Oh, good luck.
So thanks for keeping me entertained for 10K. I did not feel this distance at all.
That's what running with a friend does, right?
I'm pretty sure I'm going to feel the next 15.